a little huskier than normal, but I'll try and keep it light, because we're at the traditional Marvel stage of the day. It's roll. Okay, I'm here to talk about dual screen versus second screen and why that's a pointless semantic argument is slightly important to me and will be even less important to you in the future. So, whoever wants to be second, this is kind of my starting point. If you look at these guys, they're exceptionally disappointed. They all got silver medals at the London Olympics and are understandably crestfallen. And I think we're all quite lucky here in our ivory tower of physical inadequacy that we will never get to this level of sporting prowess that being second in the world at everything is ever a disappointment. But that's the thing, people talk about second screen and there's endless graphs, endless, tedious, huge, boring graphs about people using their smartphones while they're watching TV every day. Look, numbers, second screen. Everyone is talking about it all of the time, particularly in the TV industry. This is a graph I've made, which is cited. And the reason they've gone about it so much is that they've discovered a thing that probably everyone has known forever since the mobile phone came along, that people use their phones all of the time. Just watching TV is not a reason not to use your phone. There are people now who are listening to me live talking in front of them about this, who are using their phones currently. That guy's doing it. There's a guy up there. I'm aware that this happens. TV people have only just learned that this is an issue because they believe that their meeting is so important that people should just stop everything they're doing. I've been in a pub, people have been talking on their phone instead of talking to me, and I am quite important, so all of these things have kind of corrected this idea that second screen is becoming more important, when in reality that is just a thing, that is a device that everyone has and they use all the time, and it's important to them. People care about their phones and care about what they're doing with them. So we should probably kind of treat it slightly differently. The thing that annoys me more than boring graphs is this. Mobile, we have the first screen. First screen, all of them. It's not a competition. You don't need to be the first or the second screen. It is that everyone has all of these things all of the time. It's like saying, it's not like saying anything. It's a stupid thing that anyone will say. So that's that. So, side note, there are some genuinely great second screen apps for TV. What TV people have gone along this course, now they've got hashtags at the end of TV programme because they want you to engage. And that's not going to get people to engage. You get people to engage by making a good television programme that people talk about organically. That's how it has always worked. And the other thing is that people engage with shows in different ways. So there's various apps that come out, second screen apps for shows, which what they do is formalise things we've always done. So the Antiques Roadshow, it's brilliant. It's probably not encountered it because you're not necessarily the demographic of the Antiques Roadshow. But it uses high frequency audio in the edit. So whether you're watching it live, or whether you're watching it recorded, or whether you're watching on an iPlayer, you can play along at home. When an item comes up to value, you have multiple choice things, and you can and it tracks your score through an episode, and it tracks your score through a series, and says who in your family is the best at valuing antiques, and it's perfect because people have done that for years. The Antiques Roadshow has been going on. They've been going, I reckon it's worth £12, and people go, it's worth £1 million, and I go, and quiz shows work perfectly for this as well. So you've got £1 Million Drop was a kind of early success using similar techniques. That's a live show, and they managed to make it so that people could play along at home on their devices. So when used well, this can be a really kind of powerful tool for getting those things that people have already done and making a kind of digital entertainment out of them and increasing the existing engagement they have with these shows. So we're moving on to games, because you're not here to talk about TV, you're here to talk about games. Sometimes what we do wrong in the games industry is we pay too much attention to what other media are doing. And then we take those things and we co-opt them slightly badly, and then we let ourselves become entrenched, which is why for kind of 10, 15 years, in the 80s and 90s, there was a desperation to make interactive movies. And for so long, people were going, we can come closer and closer. It was only really when we stopped trying to become closer and closer films that actually start to making games that actually achieve those kinds of things. And I worry slightly that the second screen thing, it's taking all of our clues from how TV is treating it, which is like, oh my god, everyone's got phones now, let's use them in a way, which is probably the wrong way to go about implementing anything. Games don't really need a second screen. I'm astonished this is the first Flappy Bird image of that. The reason why lots of second screens don't exist is because people want to be distracted from what they do. People will go and look at something else. Games are generally, if you can be distracted from them, they're not really doing their job of being a distraction from everything else. So they don't necessarily need that kind of secondary experience with them. Which kind of comes on to what we do at Opposable Games. We love connecting multi-screen games. It's one of the things we do. We're trying to use all of this technology that people already have in interesting and different ways, because it seems a shame that when you get home and you're playing a game and you've got this powerful thing in your pocket that you can't use it in other ways to enhance your experience. We made a game called Plot Races. It was an iOS game, it's on the App Store, and we're trying to kind of recreate micro machines essentially. You can play it on an iPad, everyone else can play on their phones, and you can have a local multiplayer game together, and then when you lose you can hit your friend, rather than be playing across miles apart and be unable to physically beat them. So that's what we did, and through doing that we created some technology called One-Touch Connect. Partially because we had trouble making the game in the first place, doing all the things that we wanted to do. Partly because we wanted to take that same technology and use it for other platforms. Hang on. So yeah, so One-Touch Connect is on the internet still, and with it, it's very lightweight. It doesn't do all the networking for you, because in Unity all that networking is done already. What it improves is connectivity and discoverability. So you can have One-Touch Connect running on all of your different platforms. As long as you're on the same local Wi-Fi network, they will find each other. And that's something that hasn't really existed cross-platform. People have a lot of trouble with it. So that's just something that we did as a consequence of the work we were doing, and we're just kind of making it available to other people, because it really kind of helps us, given that's kind of the genre and platform we're kind of into, is if other people are doing the same thing, because we can help one another out, and we can tell people that, yeah, this is the thing that we're doing. We're not really worried about who's playing the game, as long as they're all playing the game together. So, why am I bothered about this dual screen, second screen thing? I don't want first and second, I just want everyone to get along. And as a quick side note, I was hoping for a lovely image of like a multi-ethnic group of people. But what I accidentally typed into Google search was interracial group. That is not a place you want to go. What started as a beautiful thing in my head went to terrible places, even with safe search. The point I think I'm making is that we're losing opportunities because we're being a bit narrow-minded in our way of thinking about second screen connected games. At the moment, we've got various things going on. There's the Wii U, obviously, which is when you're talking about dual screen play, other than the Nintendo DS, for kind of this home multi-screen experience. The Wii U is the most obvious example, but also the most obvious example of why it hasn't worked in the way that people they haven't taken full advantage of the platform, or, and which is probably more likely, that the audience for Wii U is very different. It's the Wii audience who were frightened of controllers, and yet suddenly they've gone to this new platform, which is not only a controller, it's got a massive great screen in the middle of it. That's not what the Wii audience was after. They were after more Wii fun. And so that's Sports Horizon, and that had a big kind of smart glass integration, that you could have a map on your device at the same time as you're playing on the main screen. And in a lot of cases, these companion apps are just information that should be on screen. It's been on screen for ages, and it's on screen for a reason, because it you're looking at that part of the screen anyway. Why would you move that? Why would you make that a secondary thing? Same with Battlefield 4 battle screen. And then in the bottom right is Little Big Planet via cross controller, which actually was quite good, because what it did was take advantage of the capabilities that the Vita had that the PS3 didn't have. So you could use the touchscreen on the Vita to do all the creation tools, and using the creation tools with the pad was never quite as good as it would be on touchscreen. So what that does, the Vita implementation complements it very well. We need to see more of that and less of point-and-speed maps. Yeah, so it's the same as that TV thing. The platform owners and the publishers seem to have taken the opinion that because people are playing lots of games on mobile phone, then they need to have a mobile component to their game, which seems a little bit of the wrong way around. People are playing games anyway, but they're playing their games and they want to play those games. They don't need to be necessarily distracted by taking a phone out of their pockets to play ball with the dog. They're quite happy to run around shooting people in San Andreas. So we saw all this going on. We had our technology, we were playing with that kind of thing. We wanted to see, could we make a single player game using multi-screen tech that would find a genuine audience and be considered a good game in its own right. There's no reason making a tech demo for people if we want to be game developers. We want people to play this and go, here's a cool game, enjoy it. And also would make money. So, because we're not sensible adults, we didn't check our logos. We went, fuck it, let's do it anyway. So we're making a game called Salvage, which is essentially a game based around this specific bit of aliens, which is arguably the best bit of aliens. And we wanted to design it to be dual screen from the ground up. So, no health functions. Once you've connected, all the interactions are through your smart device. The aim is that you can play the game on any smartphone or tablet. The size of phone screens now is sufficiently large, and the parent device is sufficiently good that they can be used as useful input devices. And the genre of the game is designed so that the genre and the setting and the platform hand in hand. And by platform I mean this kind of connected multi-screen game. It's a sci-fi game, so it makes sense that you're using a kind of cool touch interface as you're going. The genre is kind of real-time tactical action, so it makes sense that you've got this really flexible control scheme that you can use for bringing guys around. That arguably is better than using SMU because you've got these kind of wide range of interactions that you can make just by touch. And yeah, we would take the best parts of constituent devices. We're making a game for PC games primarily. So we want to use all the power of their PC. We want to make it visually stunning. We want to make it have all of those benefits of a PC game, but also have the flexibility, the intuitiveness of a good, modern, smart, multi-screen touch device. So yeah, and the reason we named it those called PC games is because they're willing to take risks. They're willing to try new stuff in order to get new gameplay experiences. And they're tech savvy. They're not like you people who've come from a Wii background expecting more Wii tennis. They are looking for, they're willing to take a risk. They're willing to download something from somewhere else if necessary in order to play a cool new game that they've not seen before. So everything is aimed at those games, like with the genre and the setting. All of that stuff is kind of coalesced towards this audience who are going to be aware enough when I say it's like this bit in Aliens, like you guys go, oh yeah, that bit in Aliens. That's the thing that people get, and it's the thing that hopefully the audience will get. And we kind of aim it ourselves, because when you're in the position we are to piss away all our hard-earned work for hire money on a huge vanity project, why wouldn't you make a game for yourself? That is literally what we're doing. Well, so this is a teaser trailer. Well, it's very short. we launched it earlier this week. Just kind of giving a taste of what the game kind of will look like to some degree. We're at a very early stage. We're showing it Res next week, which is a kind of alpha of a vertical slice of the game. It's quite early. We've got a reasonably big team for a small company, but we have a minuscule team for a big company. So we're trying to work in that area and trying to prove that we can do something that will appeal to PC games, but is not huge in its scope. So what I'm quickly going to do is alter out this, if that's all right, and show you an old video, which I realise I've banged on a lot about kind of mod-screen and stuff, and it's one of those things that is quite hard to describe, but as soon as you see it, you go, and so that's what this is. Actually, Brian, is there audio? There's not saying it's full.
It is correct. Just talk through it, Joe.
Okay. No worries. Let's get out and have a sorry, talk raw minute. So this is a video from a kind of earlier tech demo kind of prototype that we did with it. So it's all very orange boxy. But this is all running kind of as we kind of suggest the game will. It's running independently on the iPad and on the PC, and everything that you do in your multi-search control is reflected through the eyes of the team that you're controlling the top screen. And really the kind of story of the game is you're commander of a risk team, which is a remote interstate salvage crew. You're being sent into the spacecraft to not only to retrieve their black box flight recorders and then also to loot all the salvage you can get along the way. And all your team is AI essentially. You have no direct control over them other than ordering them. So it's very much a real-time tactical game, small squad. Kind of, we've got so many influences in this, things like Syndicate and Cannon Fodder and Captive and Space Hulk, and all of those different kind of classic 90s and era experiences. And we really wanted to just kind of capture the feeling that you are connected to these people in a sense, but you're also detached. And the only way that you can do that, and the benefit of having two different devices to do something, it gives you that sense of detachment, as well as that sense of control. And the game obviously next week will look much better than this. We've rewritten it since the demo. This was for pitching purposes, but it's now as we intended it. The environments are all procedurally generated. We have various alien things going. So yeah, that is essentially what we're doing with Salvage, and why I kind of care about the kind of idea that second screen is not a thing that we should be doing lightly. I think if anything we should be going full on with it, because otherwise it's just going to be another kind of box ticking exercise that every developer who ends up in front of the publisher, they're going to go, oh, do you mind doing a map screen on your mobile? And you'll go, no, why would I do that? If you want to make a thing that actually enhances the experience, then you'll have the flexibility to do so. Things like this exist, and that people genuinely enjoy them. And every time we get someone in front of this, they go, oh yeah, I get it, because it's allowing me to do something that potentially I've never done before. And that's why it's cool. So in summary, it's fine to say second screen. I've been a bit bullish. I don't like changing language for no reason. It is second screen, but we've got to stop thinking it as just a lesser brother. One of those things. In fact, on our new website we say second screen all the time because it's a term that people understand. It's not all there is. You say dual screen, if you say multi-screen, you can conjure up a lot more different ideas in people's heads, and therefore it's worth throwing them into the mix every now and again. And I genuinely believe that the Wii U hasn't failed because it is a dual screen device. It's failed up till now largely because they've done a very bad job of selling those features, or they haven't implemented them fully enough, or because it the wrong device for the wrong audience. And not all games need this. I'm not one of those, this is the future of games, because there are so many possible futures. A while ago, there was the future of games was plastic peripherals for everything, and you ended up with horrible Tony Hawk's travesties. And luckily that trend died out. But as soon as you say this is definitely all games are going to have this, then that's probably not going to happen. If I'm wrong, I'll go away and shut up. That's fine. If I'm right, however, we can all be first. like these magnanimous arseholes who don't understand sport. Why would you do that? Thank you, contact interns. You may know a question.
I'm interested in Savage for out on the Wii.
Savage is not currently coming out on the Wii U. We've talked to Nintendo, obviously, as soon as you say we're doing something like this, then they get interested. But also, for them, genre-wise, it's a risk. For the other publishers who have all made good card interfaces, for them, they're really keen at sets. It's a risk, and it's a big risk than they're willing to take because there is no proven audience for this. We are assuming that hand PC users will have another device that they want to play with. If it's the right game for them, genre-wise, setting-wise, then they'll hopefully pick it up. And then at that point, maybe the other platform holders will get involved.
Have you watched people play a lot and just observed how they handle their head always going up from one screen to the other, and whether that's comfortable or not?
We have. We got some funding at the start of the year through an RT Tomorrow competition, specifically to cover those needs. One of the things that we found is managing the player's focus between the devices is really important. In that early demo, in the orange box version, most people could play it entirely looking at their control screen, which invalidated the whole point of it. And the reason for that was there was no variation in the enemies you got, there was no reason to look up. So we've worked really hard from a design point of view, to make sure that we have enough reasons to be looking up and enough reasons to be looking down. Because there is a tangible kind of function the brains do between looking at two different screens that is you need to be aware of. And we're putting in some face tracking technology to determine what the player is looking at any one time, so that we can implement the different design features to see which ones work the best for managing that player focus. So yeah, that's a really important thing to consider.
How was One Touch Connect doing? Can we expect lots of other people to be using this kind of stuff? Is it going well for you?
It's quite a niche product. We've not, because it's a kind of a secondary thing to what we've been doing, which is kind of out there. We'll probably concentrate more on it as kind of part of the Savage thing. We have had quite a lot of interest from different sorts of people looking. There's quite a lot of people who do street games and things who want everyone to turn up with their phones and be kind of connected, etc. So it's kind of popular for that and art installations actually, rather than necessary than game stuff. But it's not just. I mean, we're doing off-screen stuff with it, but it can be also used for normal networking. If you want to make a game for Android and iOS together for local multiplayer, then it's ideal. And they can all be shown something, or shown as an individual use. It's sometimes it's not something.
Yeah, I'm interested. What's the biggest challenge you've come across making this sort of game?
I suppose two things. There's the kind of what I was talking about before with face tracking is the necessity to do it. I mean, we've got to not only do we have to make it so it's a valuable thing to do, we've also got to prove to people that it's a valuable thing to do. So there's definitely a hump that a lot of people have written off second screen for all sorts of reasons, because it's been badly implemented so far, because the Wii U's not doing it very well. Mark Rain did a piece where he says, I've yet to see the killer app. He didn't rule it out, but he was very kind of dismissive of all as well. So that's kind of the biggest thing that we have to do with this, is going, we believe that this is a thing, and it's resistance to that is kind of true. If there's no more questions, I should just address one other thing. Do not listen to this man's lies. he's going to go out here, he's going to use a lot of fancy big words. And essentially, what this man says is, if you've got one screen and hundreds of players, that is a positive thing. Now, as good people, not very game developers, phrases like cheating is fun, physical contact is good, should be outside of our windows. We take very much the opposite approach. We say one player with as many screens as possible is the best way to do it. So, I think the only real way to, if you see this guy, don't really know who he is, but if you see him, just turn your back to him and ignore what he says. Thank you very much.